A man is but the product of his thoughts. What he thinks, he becomes. Mahatma Gandhi. Love is the strongest force the world possesses, and yet it is the humblest imaginable. Human life is a series of compromises, and it is not always easy to achieve in practice what one has found to be true in theory. I offer you peace. I offer you love. I offer you friendship. I see your beauty. I hear your need. I feel your feelings. Where there is love, there is life. Love is the law of life. Adversity is the mother of progress. Recall the face of the poorest and weakest man you have seen, and ask yourself if this step you contemplate is going to be any use to him. The golden rule of conduct is mutual toleration, seeing that we will never all think alike and we shall see truth in fragment and from different angles of vision. Whenever you are confronted with an opponent, conquer him with love. To see farther, you must climb higher. A burning passion coupled with absolute detachment is the key to all success. 1,000 candles can be lighted from the flame of one candle, and the life of the candle will not be shortened. Happiness can be spread without diminishing that of yourself. To give pleasure to a single heart by a single act is better than 1,000 heads bowing in prayer. Aggressive civil disobedience should be confined to a vindication of the right of free speech and free association.
Don't forget to subscribe. Afterwards, the wisest and most spiritual books from the greatest authors await you every day. And now buckle up, sit back, and we'll begin.
In the midst of darkness, light persists. There is no need of a teacher for those who know how to think. If all Christians acted like Christ, the whole world would be Christian. Think for tomorrow but act for today. Prayer is not asking. It is a longing of the soul. It is daily admission of one's weakness. It is better in prayer to have a heart without words than words without a heart. The future depends on what we do in the present. It is easy enough to say, I do not believe in God, for God permits all things to be said of him with impunity. He looks at our acts, and any breach of his law carries with it, not its vindictive, but it purifying, compelling punishment. Let the first act of every morning be to make the following resolve for the day: I shall not fear anyone on earth. I shall fear only God. I shall not bear ill will toward anyone. I shall not submit to injustice from anyone. I shall conquer untruth by truth, and in resisting untruth, I shall put up with all suffering. Education is the basic tool for the development of consciousness and the reconstitution of society. Power is of two kinds. One is obtained by the fear of punishment and the other by acts of love. Power based on love is 1,000 times more effective and permanent than the one derived from fear of punishment. Man often becomes what he believes himself to be. If I keep on saying to myself that I cannot do a certain thing, it is possible that I may end by really becoming incapable of doing it. On the contrary, if I have the belief that I can do it, I shall surely acquire the capacity to do it even if I may not have it at the beginning. Love is the strongest force the world possesses, and yet it is the humblest imaginable. Unless discipline is rooted in non-violence, it might prove to be a source of infinite mischief. Eye for eye and the world will go blind. Anger and intolerance are the enemies of correct understanding. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. You must be the change you wish to see in the world. If you do nothing, there will be no results. Always believe in your dreams, because if you don't, you'll still have hope. We but mirror the world. All the tendencies present in the outer world are to be found in the world of our body. If we could change ourselves, the tendencies in the world would also change. As a man changes his own nature, so does the attitude of the world change towards him. This is the divine mystery supreme. A wonderful thing it is and the source of our happiness. We need not wait to see what others do. The greatness of a nation can be judged by the way its animals are treated. There is goodness as well as greatness in simplicity, not in wealth. To me, God is truth and love, God is ethics and morality, God is fearlessness. There is a higher court than courts of justice, and that is the court of conscience. It supersedes all other courts. Hatred is not essential for nationalism. Race hatred will kill the real national spirit. The greater our innocence, the greater our strength, and the swifter our victory. The earth, the air, the land and the water are not an inheritance from our forefathers but on loan from our children, so we have to hand over to them at least as it was handed over to us. I call myself a laborer because I take pride in calling myself a spinner, weaver, farmer and scavenger. Compassion is a muscle that gets stronger with use. What is really needed to make democracy function is not knowledge of facts, but right education. It is better to allow our lives to speak for us than our words. I came to the conclusion long ago that all religions were true and that also that all had some error in them, and while I hold by my own religion, I should hold other religions as dear as Hinduism. So we can only pray, if we were Hindus, not that a Christian should become a Hindu, but our innermost prayer should be that a Hindu should become a better Hindu, a Muslim a better Muslim, and a Christian a better Christian. True beauty consists of purity of heart. My faith is brightest in the midst of impenetrable darkness. President means chief servant. Both heaven and hell are within us. Hesitating to act because the whole vision might not be achieved, or because others do not yet share it, is an attitude that only hinders progress. Journalism should never be prostituted for selfish ends or for the sake of merely earning a livelihood or, worse still, for amassing money. The expert knows more and more about less and less until he knows everything about nothing. Love never claims, it ever gives. Jesus was the most active resistor known to history. His was non-violence par excellence. Do not worry about what others are doing. Each of us should turn the searchlight inward and purify his or her own heart as much as possible. You cannot succeed in one department of life while cheating on another. Life is an indivisible whole. Don't listen to friends when the friend inside you says do this. The golden way is to be friends with the world and to regard the whole human family as one. The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated. I hold that the more helpless a creature, the more entitled it is to protection by man from the cruelty of humankind. Wildlife is decreasing in the jungles, but it is increasing in the towns. The rich cannot accumulate wealth without the cooperation of the poor in society. I am a man of peace. I believe in peace. But I do not want peace at any price. Civil disobedience is the inherent right of a citizen. Poverty is the worst form of violence. You can't shake hands with a closed fist. Now the man on duty used to be changed from time to time. Once one of these men, without giving me the slightest warning, without even asking me to leave the footpath, pushed and kicked me into the street. I was dismayed. Before I could question him as to his behavior, Mr. Coates, who happened to be passing the spot on horseback, hailed me and said, "Gandhi, I have seen everything. I shall gladly be your witness in court if you proceed against the man. I am very sorry you have been so rudely assaulted. Do not judge others. Be your own judge and you will be truly happy. If you will try to judge others, you are likely to burn your fingers. We must become the change we want to see." While everything around me is ever changing, ever dying, there is underlying that change a living power that is changeless, that holds all together, that creates, dissolves and recreates. For I can see in the midst of death, life persists. In the midst of untruth, truth persists. In the midst of darkness, light persists. One can measure the greatness and the moral progress of a nation by looking at how it treats its animals. I learned from Hussein how to be wronged and be a winner. I learned from Hussein how to attain victory while being oppressed. What may appear as truth to one person will often appear as untruth to another person. But that need not worry the seeker. When there is honest effort, it will be realized that what appears to be different truths are like apparently different countless leaves of the same tree. They may torture my body, break my bones, even kill me. Then they will have my dead body, but not my obedience. Violence is the weapon of weak, non-violence that of the strong. Disobedience to be civil has to be open and non-violent. Illness or disease is only nature's warning that filth has accumulated in some portion or other of the body, and it would surely be the part of wisdom to allow nature to remove the filth, instead of covering it up with the help of medicines. The most heinous and the most cruel crimes of which history has record have been committed under the cover of religion or equally noble motives. Among the many misdeeds of the British rule in India, history will look upon the act depriving a whole nation of arms as the blackest. An unjust law is itself a species of violence. Arrest for its breach is more so. Public opinion alone can keep a society pure and healthy. If we are to reach real peace in this world and if we are to carry on a real war against war, we shall have to begin with children, and if they will grow up in their natural innocence, we won't have to struggle, we won't have to pass fruitless idle resolutions, but we shall go from love to love and peace to peace, until at last all the corners of the world are covered with that peace and love for which consciously or unconsciously the whole world is hungering. Every moment of your life is infinitely creative and the universe is endlessly bountiful. Just put forth a clear enough request, and everything your heart desires must come to you. Intellect takes us along in the battle of life to a certain limit, but at the crucial moment it fails us. Faith transcends reason. It is when the horizon is the darkest and human reason is beaten down to the ground that faith shines brightest and comes to our rescue. Prayer from the heart can achieve what nothing else can in the world. In doing something, do it with love or never do it at all. Truth is by nature self-evident. As soon as you remove the cobwebs of ignorance that surround it, it shines clear. Truth alone will endure, all the rest will be swept away before the tide of time. Outward peace is useless without inner peace. Bullies are always to be found where there are cowards. It is not given to man to know the whole truth. His duty lies in living up to the truth as he sees it, and in doing so, to resort to the purest means, i.e., to non-violence. God alone knows absolute truth. Therefore, I have often said, truth is God. It follows that man, a finite being, cannot know absolute truth. Nobody in this world possesses absolute truth. This is God's attribute alone. Relative truth is all we know. Therefore, we can only follow the truth as we see it. Such pursuit of truth cannot lead anyone astray. I learnt the lesson on nonviolence from my wife, when I tried to bend her to my will. Her determined resistance to my will on the one hand, and her quiet submission to the suffering my stupidity involved on the other, ultimately made me ashamed of myself and cured me of my stupidity in thinking that I was born to rule over her. My religion is based on truth and nonviolence. Truth is my God. Nonviolence is the means of realizing Him. Anger and intolerance are the twin enemies of correct understanding. The difference between what we do and what we are capable of doing would suffice to solve most of the world's problems. See the good in people and help them. The only devils in the world are those running around in our own hearts. That is where the battle should be fought. Those who believe religion and politics aren't connected don't understand either. Love is no love which asks for a return. I know that in embarking on nonviolence I shall be running what might be termed a mad risk, but the victories of truth have never been won without risks. Religion is one tree with many branches. As branches, you may say, religions are many, but as a tree, religion is only one. A satyagrahi lays down his life, but never gives up. That is the meaning of the do or die slogan. The greatest help you can give me is to banish fear from your hearts. Mahatma Gandhi.
And that's not all. Our experts and regular viewers respond to all comments. Also check if you forgot to subscribe and set your bell to receive notifications about new audiobooks and other useful self-development materials that we release regularly. Join in the discussions, don't forget to give likes and, if possible and inspired, support the development of the channel financially. All useful links will be in the description and the first attached comment. Goodness, love and wisdom to all. And now move on to watch the next part of the video at the links below, or choose something from the playlists of the channel and those you see on the screen.